All right, let's go to another issue. I think it's pretty important. Would you want to get on a plane with just one pilot? I've flown a lot in my time and absolutely not. Now, this was an idea floated late last year by the International Civil Aviation Organisation. Nearly 40 countries that are a member, a whole lot like the idea. Certainly a lot of the plane manufacturers do. And they're pushing on to make single pilot operations a reality. Now, I know we've got lots of technology on those planes. When things get tough, I want a pilot that knows what it's doing, and I want to back up, and someone who knows exactly what happens when things get tough. Richard de Crespigny. In 2010, he was the captain of a Qantas A380, which is one of those great big beasts, and it suffered a catastrophic engine explosion in the air above Singapore. He got the plane down safely. So let's get his view. He's joining me now. Richard de Crespigny, thank you for your time.
Pleasure, Peta.
You've forgotten more about aviation than anyone else I could talk to. The Pilots Association are concerned. The plane manufacturers love this idea. I thought it had gone away, but it hasn't, has it?
Oh, it hasn't gone away at all, and I'm quite surprised. I mean, it's driven by some of the airlines that either haven't budgeted to build up their pilots as they have budgeted to buy aircraft 10 years in advance, by the European Safety Authority that for some reason is following this ridiculous concept. And Airbus, which I guess is curious to continue building automation, but deep down they know that you can't. The only way you can have an autonomous aircraft is to have sentient computers, much like humans.
So tell us why this is give us some practical examples of why this is a bad idea.
Well, first of all, you said that I brought QF32 back to Earth. That's not true. It was a team effort, and humans will always make errors. So you need extra pilots on board. So the pilots, you can share jobs and delegate duties. They will monitor you and pick up if you make a mistake. They'll contribute ideas or actually tell you that you're doing something wrong. And in the worst case, where you get incapacitated, they'll take over. Now, the European agency's concept that they are developing is one where they'll have a single pilot on the cockpit, and they accept that he can leave the cockpit to maybe go to the toilet. But this is ridiculous because the automation won't even support a single pilot when things go wrong. In QF32 and QF72 and another famous Qantas incident near Manila, all the automation failed. It was the pilots that brought it back. And you can't even consider having one pilot or no pilots in the cockpit of commercial aircraft. It's not fair to the passengers, it's irresponsible, and really the aviation authority should realise we no longer measure safety by the absence of accidents. We might measure safety by things that go well, and pilots save aircraft all the time.
So what worries me, I mean, those examples you've given us are absolutely right, but of course we get more and more technology into the system day by day. We can see cyber attacks and other things go wrong. That's also a risk, surely.
Well, that's right. The thing to remember is that technology and security are natural enemies. Technology always tries to do things and security tries to stop it. And when the things go wrong, you need to turn off those computers. I have owned a Tesla for 1 month. And believe me, for the most advanced automation system in cars in the world, I wouldn't trust my life to a Tesla autopilot for more than about 10 seconds. So the automation really is not there. So we have to understand the limits of the computers. I mean, I remember advising a board member at the ASX not to persist trying to convert their chess system to blockchain. Now, that was a stupid idea. It was fundamentally, technically failed in its concepts. Anyway, they blew $250 million chasing that when it obviously wouldn't work. So the EASA and the airlines and everyone needs to listen to the pilots. We know what's going on in the cockpits. A lot of the safety authorities clearly don't. Listen to the pilots, talk to them, and they'll tell you that this idea of a single pilot aircraft is unsafe. It's actually dead wrong, and the passengers deserve more.
Qantas and Virgin today are saying that they're not going to commit either way. They're sitting on the fence. They're saying it's up to the regulator. Do you think pilots are going to win the day here?
Well, look, I think there's a bigger shortage of pilots in aviation history. This is largely because, well, aviation has been growing 15% since the 1970s. So everyone's been able to budget training pilots to fill their aircraft. They certainly know they have to budget to buy aircraft. They haven't budgeted to train pilots or to keep them. They've lost pilots and now they have this problem. And the quick answer is to reduce the number of pilots in the cockpit. So this is a chase to save money, and it will reduce safety standards and the safety that everyone takes for granted, because aviation is safe. But this safety that's makes you feel happy when you're flying an aircraft, it's led people into this thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is people's incompetence shields them from recognising their incompetence. The people pushing single-pilot aircraft don't realise how silly that idea is, because they don't understand safety in today's cockpits.
Richard de Crespigny, I know my audience is cheering at the TV saying you have got to keep speaking out on this. You know more about it than anyone, so keep going, and you're welcome back on the program anytime it starts to get hairy again. Thank you
Thanks,
for being
Peta.
with us.